Hey, good morning, good evening, everyone. We're just going to start letting everybody in. To kick this off, a simple yes or no answer to this question. Are you happy with your sales engagement platform? Put it in the chat, yes or no. Always interesting to see what we have here. Couple of no's. Got a woo. I've got the flu, so I can't go high pitch woo. Um, hell no. Yes. Okay. Felice, what are you using for your sales engagement platform?
Hello, everybody. How are we doing? We use we use different platform. The first one for the CRM, we use HubSpot. Okay,
Mhm.
and we have the platform to call. This is Call. And talking about HubSpot, I like HubSpot, but sometimes it's true that it's a little bit confusional. Yeah, it's too many data. It's a little bit, especially if you work in a big company. And from their side, yes, if you guess yes and no, yeah, it's a both of them more yes than no, but uh, I'm pretty happy with that. I used to work with the Salesforce as well before, and I find it a little bit more clean as a platform to
The sale,
engage.
talk about the sales engagement platform, Felice. So do you mean you use the Salesforce sales engagement
So,
platform?
no, so you talk about, like, for example, Sales Navigator or this type of
No,
stuff.
sales engagement
What do you mean?
platform, Outreach, Salesloft, those kind of tools.
Oh, we use Call to call.
Ah,
We don't, yeah, we did, that's the only one you use. I mean, we have CRM, all this type of stuff, but yeah, for sales engagement, we use Call, and for cold calling, we also use Lucia.
okay.
But yeah, that's sorry, I just got a little bit confused.
All
And
good, mate.
yeah, but yeah, I'm pretty happy with that anyway. So
Great. Awesome. Thanks so much.
no problem. Thank you.
So, Christopher, I'm going to mute you because there's some screaming in the background. If you're anybody else is off mute, my ears are a little bit blocked from the flu, but I can still hear. Okay, it's all gone. Great. Hey everyone, thanks ever so much for coming today. These sessions. So first of all, my name's Dave Wilkins, founder of SDR Leaders of EMEA, and these sessions are for you. So there's going to be. We want to hear from you and get your takes, and we've got a real our tech stack expert, James Donaldson, who's going to be talking through today about how to optimize your tech stack. And we're going to share an example of one of our community members' tech stacks and about looking about how to optimize and get it fit for purpose to help reduce the amount of administrative time, to help just get the teams concentrating on the job in hand, which is selling and making money for both the company themselves and for yourself. So what we're going to do is James is going to share his screen and show that example and about how to optimize that tech stack. And what our ask is of you is if you've got a tech stack that you would like to have looked at and said, hey, I'm thinking about doing X, Y, and Z. How do you think I can improve this? Put it in the chat. If it's sensitive, put it in the private chat to me, and I won't mention who your name is. Um, and and we can help share that with you. The real good thing about James is that he's not. I was going to use a long word, but I can't think of the word. He's not bought by any particular vendor. He's not going to give you the hard sell on one particular product. It's about what's best for you and your company. That's the most important piece. So his recommendation, his expertise is coming from that agnostic kind of space. James, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'm going to keep drinking my lemon sip. See you in a bit.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah. Hi, guys. Hopefully, spoken to a lot of people here, but everyone else, hopefully, we speak during the session. The Yeah, to get the ball rolling, like the first stack that we're going to review, um, they're like quite a big team. So they've got 100 outbound SDRs and AEs. I think it's about it's near a 50-50 split, but it's slightly more skewed. So it's probably like 60-40 in terms of SDRs. They are like pure outbound. They have like a very small marketing team of like 4 or 5 people, which shows why they're probably one of the like not a lot of companies will have 2 CRMs, but in this case they do. Um, the outbound team I know are using Salesforce, and then they got the marketing hub and HubSpot to keep the marketing team happy. They've been around for probably 12, 15 years. So everybody still has Sales Navigator licenses. That is like a pretty big cost. I'm probably going to run them like above 70 grand a year for that many licenses. Lusher, because it was one of the first movers for EMEA contact data. They have a small US presence. They've got Zoom Info, Fireflies, and Aircall. Now, this is like pretty traditional, but also pretty expensive stack when you look at those top tools. In this scenario, like I'd actually, and it's maybe controversial for some, I'm happy to be disagreed with, but like I think they're actually in a position where they could get rid of that big LinkedIn Sales Navigator spend and also reduce their Zoom info massively. So anybody who's probably been on these sessions or spoken to me before, they probably think I'm going to say look at upsell, which is a good option. But actually, in this instance, what I would suggest is you look at SalesBot. SalesBot has 683 contacts in its database. So it's roughly twice the size of Zoom Info and 3 times the size of Apollo. The reason it's so good and has like such a big database is basically the guy who built it. He built a lot of AI tools and AI coding and stuff like that before, and actually like a lot of that coding went into tools like OpenTable and stuff. So he's from very much from that AI background. He's got a load of AI machines that trawl through huge amounts of data that's publicly available to build that database. Whereas most traditional providers are a bit more of a give to get, and they scan like your email signatures and stuff like that, amongst other things. So they'd be able to get rid of LinkedIn Sales Navigator, probably reduce their Zoom Info licenses right down to a single license and just ask Zoom Info for credits to plug the gaps, whilst all of their reps instead have SalesBot. The other stuff, the reason you don't necessarily need that LinkedIn as well, SalesBot, because of all that AI and that like amazing like scraping, crawling, information surfacing that it's able to do, you can build your like a list or a data set like anybody here would be familiar with in like your Apollos, your Zoom infos and stuff with the filters. But then it will actually also go and scan. If you put in all your website and tell it who you want to target, it will go and scan all of the search results. It will go and scan their own websites, their own LinkedIn profiles, and then come back to you saying these are all the ones that are actually a good ICP fit, not just they like fit those basic filters. So it's going to give them much better targeting and massively reduce costs. Lusher, still one of the better ones for EMEA. I think Surf is fast becoming like a better option, a good waterfall option. And then again, you could probably reduce to one Lusher license, just plug that into the Surf waterfall. Aircall, you can keep if you like Aircall, but like for this stack, what I'd recommend to the people, obviously we could maybe go into like, do you definitely need HubSpot and a whole like another thing on having 2 CRMs, but Marketing Hub, I know I still yet to meet a marketing team that likes Salesforce. So these would be the best 2 options here. Reduce LinkedIn completely, reduce Lusher and Zoom Info to a single license with some credits, plug them in. You're going to get probably double connection rates, twice as much data found. Paul, you got your hand up?
Sorry, I'm on my phone. I can't figure out how to use Zoom on my phone. Yeah, just a question on SalesBot. So are they only email addresses as for contact details, or is that phone numbers as well?
Phone numbers as well. So SalesBot would be great if you're prospecting anywhere in North America, the UK. It'd be okay for EMEA, but if you're going to prospect the wider EMEA market outside the UK, you probably still need like an extra cover for like Lusher or something.
So I'm only UK. Um,
And definitely look at
how
that.
would that compare to the likes of Cognizant and the UK sort of specific vendors?
They'll be able to find you like much more data than Cognizant will be able to find you because of the
Okay.
way they go and search for the data. Um, it's also like very good for options because you can say, I want to target people that have these types of keywords or might be looking at these types of problems rather than just applying filters like most other providers. So it's definitely worth comparing if you've got Cognizant and it's cheaper. Anybody else got other stacks or other like tool queries you were considering?
So I have a question around this stack. What's the I forgot if you mentioned this at the start. What's kind of the ARR of this business? Is this kind of like a standard what you'd recommend for that kind of size and scale of company?
Yeah, so they're actually an agency, like an SDR agency, hence why they've got such like a big outbound team. So I think they're about 12 million ARR. Um, yeah, it's an interesting question. I think because I'm from that background, I know like the margins are tighter. So when like compared to if it was a 12 million ARR SaaS company, um, so the recommendations might be slightly different, but this is in either case, the changes we've made here are going to give you the best data coverage and cover, like give you much better connection rates. So whichever size business you are, those are two like key goals, right?
Okay, awesome. I put into the chat as well that if anybody else has a tech stack that looking to optimize, raise their hand. Um, this is your time for you to get recommendations. So put
Got
your
through
hand
seven
raise.
or eight last time.
And I think what we saw from that as well is that somebody was actually able to actually
And
following one of your recommendations and is looking to.
yeah, immediately got in touch with the CEO of one of the providers like the same hour and was on a call the next day.
Paul's got his hand up.
Go on, Paul.
I'll come back again. Right. So my situation is moved into a new role. We're using Salesforce
Yeah.
as the CRM. They're using everything's been really, really manual. So there's no real sales engagement tool. Um, Marketing ad licenses for Apollo, which we have
Yeah.
commandeered basically to use with a team of 4 reps plus me as like a player coach.
Mhm.
Um, so we've got the sequencing side through that.
Do you have
Um,
Cognizant as well, you said?
no, we haven't got Cognizant. It's just something
Oh,
that
you're
was
just
on the
considering.
radar because
Yeah.
considering, yeah. So data provider at the minute is Apollo only.
Yeah.
Um, SalesBot sounded interesting. Regarding like telephony, they have got some plugin I've never heard of before called like Anywhere 365, which
Yeah.
is awful as far as I can see. There's pop, you click it, every time you open Salesforce, it pops up with a pop up, and you have to press 3 or 4 different things to make a call.
Yeah.
It's horrendous for an SDR. Um, so yeah, that's a big thing. Is what like I come from a HubSpot background, so I know what links in with HubSpot, but
Mm.
what's best
We
practice for like a dialer for Salesforce, really?
Are you after what's more important to you? Better like AI transcription, insights, note taking, accuracy, or like having a power dialer function, local numbers, that type of stuff?
I would probably say at this moment in time, probably the power dialer. Like, let's get some actual activity going rather than like transcription and things like that would be a nice to have at this present time.
Yeah, cool. Then front spin's your best bet. How big is the team?
4 plus me.
Cool. Yeah, then front spin's perfect. It is like I think it's about 150-ish dollars per person. So it's a little bit more than like an Airport, Rocket Phone, Cloud Talk and stuff, but it's got the best dialer infrastructure, the best reliability of having direct relationships with carriers. They're just way better at flagging and stuff like that, making sure that doesn't happen. So your connection rate also benefits. Whereas if you pass on Twilio, you're more likely to.
Yeah.
So front spin would be your best bet. If it is maybe a little too pricey or the team, for whatever reason, maybe don't like it, then Rocket Phone would be probably like the best power dialer, but like be reliable, specifically built for Salesforce.
Right. Okay. Cheers. And would that probably doesn't integrate with Apollo's, does it? I'm just trying to think. I don't like Apollo's
No.
data is quite expensive. Ideally, I'd like them to live just in one platform.
Yeah. Well, you could take another route then and go the Apollo dialer, unless they've changed it recently, is good for the US, and then you have to go like custom and pay a load of money for
Yeah, it's like
UK
mega
dialing.
credits, 25 credits a minute or something.
Yeah. So the only reason I'm thinking is like you could look at something like Ample Market. Ample Market are claiming, and I haven't checked this, they are claiming to have like lower bounce rates than Apollo, and higher reply rates, but I've heard bad things about their dialer, so it's probably not the best option for like an all round.
Yeah. I mean, the other options were not wedded to Apollo. Do we look at a different platform altogether, really?
Yeah, because the other option is then you could look at if you're going to look at like a sales bot or change the data provider, then you don't need to stick with Apollo, and you
Yeah.
could go for like a Nux. Nux has a power dialer, built out more of their engagement. They're a bit more of an all-in-one now. They have engagement abilities in there, I'm sure, as well.
Cool. No, that's useful, that. Cheers, James.
All right, mate.
We had another question come through about have you looked at Nux? Do you want to
Yeah.
maybe talk about how some of the comparisons around that?
Who was it who brought up Nux?
Uh, sorry, the name is not on there on the participants. So it just around. I think it's more the question was around its effectiveness being used.
I haven't seen that from like the new all-in-one platform that they built. I haven't actually seen that yet. I've actually got calls with them next week to look at more of those demos. So I can't speak to that. But from a connectivity point of view, it's not it's not going to be as good as a Rocket Phone and a front spin. Um, and when I say that, like most people will never notice the difference, but front spin because of like the way the infrastructure, the relationships they have with carriers is like just by far the best. So you will have better connection rates. With the others, I can really talk to that. To like most people won't notice, but Nooks don't have the same relationships with carriers and stuff like that.
And then Chris Hardy put a question in. I use Trellis with Dialer with Google Sheets. I'm interested in an affordable CRM that can be tied in with Go High Level for SMS blasts.
I
What is
don't know.
Go High Level? That's what I want to know.
Was it something to do with voice agents? Um, but I don't know enough about it. I could be wrong. Chris? Might not be
There we
there.
go. Hey, so what I know is that Trellis acts as a Chrome extension and just
Mhm.
has like a pop-up column, and it fully operates as a parallel dialer when you have
Yeah.
like your list up in Google Sheets. What I've seen though is that Go High Level, which is a CRM platform, people have had like all the contacts duplicated on to Go High Level. But they do the dialing, the cold calling from Google Sheets. They also have the contacts on Go High Level to where they're able to, I think it's burn it's either Twilio or some type of credits to send out SMS, right? The issue, though, is that you're doing all this work and you're getting the positive responses on both like platforms, right? It would be novel if it could all just be an all-in-one thing to where you can do your parallel dialing, but then also like send one-off texts or, do full-on text campaigns. I just haven't seen it yet while working as a fractional cold caller over the past 5 years. But I assume someone's got it figured out.
Yeah. So you're not necessarily looking at swapping Go High Level as the CRM. You're just looking for something that can help you also power dial,
If
but
if
also do
there is
separate
if there
SMS.
is something that is out there that lets you do the parallel dialing and SMS, right? I'm definitely interested.
Front spin.
Okay.
It's I actually only added SMS and WhatsApp this week, so good thing I did before this call. But yeah, front spin. You can do SMS campaigns and stuff with it, and that's out and out. But all of these here, Reply is a all-in-one platform with WhatsApp, but Cloud Talk, Aircall, both have like power dial functionality, and they have mobile apps for SMS and stuff like that as well. So you could actually look at either of these. Where do you do most of your calling into? Is it into the
For
UK,
for me for me it's
US,
North America.
rest of Europe?
I do UK call campaigns, right? But I know that you guys have your own like SMS rules, so I'm just avoiding that, right, until I understand it. But for North America, you just have to
Yeah,
have an opt-in, like a verbal, right? And you're good to go.
yeah, yeah. I definitely look at front spin then. If US is like your primary space,
Hmm.
100% front spin.
Okay. Thank you.
All good.
So just to follow on from that, Alexandra has just said Telegram and WhatsApp messaging. Are both of those possible, or is it just WhatsApp?
I don't know anything about Telegram, so I couldn't answer. WhatsApp though, all of these providers here, Reply, Cloud Talk, Just Call, Aircall, Frontspin, uh, and SMS Magic all do it. SMS, what CRM are you using, um, Alexandra?
Alexandra,
A custom one. Okay, cool.
customer.
See, SMS Magic might be a good option if you just want the WhatsApp functionality, because the others you're going to be paying for like a dialer and all these other features. So you might be paying more than you need to. If it's primarily for WhatsApp, look at SMS. I know they have integrations with Salesforce, Dynamics, and Zoho, but like most companies now, they'll have custom APIs and webhooks and stuff, so it might be able to work with yours. But I'd check out SMS Magic.
Thank you for
No
that.
problem.
Case also made a comment about he restarted with Nux last week. and connection rates have moved from 2.5% to 6+%, more or less immediately across North America and EMEA, which is
Nice.
really good thing to see.
What
They
did
also,
you move? I was going to say, ask, what did you move from?
Sorry, I can't come on camera here.
Okay.
We were using the dialer in Outreach,
Yeah.
which is called Boring. That's a good description. It's a good name.
That is like purely Twilio
Yeah.
white label. I'm 99% sure. What's Nooks? I don't think they've built their entire like own back end and infrastructure and um, have as good a relationship with carriers as maybe one of their competitors like Frontspin, but they're way better than just like a pure Twilio white label.
Yeah. 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 We found an immediate difference. We always enjoyed the sales floor aspect of it, in where you can all dial together, and because
Yeah,
our company is fully remote, the ability for SDRs to get that sales floor feeling together, where they can
yeah,
coach each other on calls, is amazing.
yeah. It's like I had the same at my old company. I'd met Rohan and Dan when they were just literally building Nooks, and we did a trial with like our SDRs, um, and every single SDR for the whole week just was asking me, "Can we get this? Can we get this? Can we get this? Can we get this?" Because of that virtual sales floor.
Yeah, and for us, part of the reason to go back to Nux was definitely because connectivity dropped in such an extreme way, um, that we had to do something quickly, um, to get the numbers back up, right? And obviously, 2 months earlier, we were still working with Nux. So once you know what you can do to fix it, um,
Yeah.
that became the urgency.
so
Whilst we're on, gone.
I was going to say, I was going to set you up, I think. So Paul asked the question about anyone got any idea of pricing for Nux. So if anybody is happy to either share what they were being charged per head, or James, if you've got that insight, that'd be good to help people.
Am I still sharing my screen?
Yeah, you are.
Don't know if it's on the site.
You're talking somewhere along the lines, depending if you're just using the dialer or the whole platform, which makes a huge difference. But anything, $250 upwards per user, for the dialer.
Yeah, it's one of the more expensive ones.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of good features and stuff in there. If people already like have a dialer, or maybe you have teams like in different regions using different dialers, or maybe you have an SDR team using one dialer, and then you have like a CS team using a different dialer or stuff, but you still want that virtual sales floor because everybody's spread out. Call Blitz is a very cool platform. It's a bring your own dialer virtual sales floor. For anybody who kind of maybe wants to look at like a Nooks because of the virtual sales floor, but they don't want to be paying that like dialer price. And within it, you can get access to coaches and stuff if you want extra coaching for the team.
Did anybody else get a lower price per seat for Nux on the call? Or is 250 kind of the standard that people are seeing? Or nobody's using Nux? Okay.
That's a drop. So cool.
And do you get mates rates, Paul asked?
I can try.
There you go.
Think, or if you book into my calendar, we can pick that up. Which I think you might have done.
I already have done.
Good stuff, mate.
Yeah, it's for later on in the week, I think. So
Nice.
Busy man, I couldn't get any availability today.
Anyone else got like any specific like sales tech questions or tech stacks that they just want to share and see what if there are any recommendations we can find?
Don't be shy if anybody has one. They can either raise their hand or put it in the chat. Maybe I can ask a question as people are writing those in. Say if I have a Cognizant license or a Zoom Info license that's coming up for renewal in the next 3 months.
Yeah.
I've got an SDR team of 20. I work for a sub 500 mil ARR company that's calling into both EMEA and to the USA. Do you recommend keeping it and just trying to push to get more discount off them? Or is there other alternatives that I could look at that could actually be more cost effective?
Yeah, great question. If you've got there's two directions I would take with that. So if your CRM is like if you feel it's a bit messy, you feel like there's a lot of outdated data, and you say you're like 20 SDRs, right? So I'm guessing there'd probably be a lot of like legacy contacts, maybe outdated stuff in there. You could go to Loan Scale first and see what they'd be able to do. They'd be able to get you. It's a credit-based model, so it's going to be a much lower cost straight off the bat. But what they do is they'll give that waterfall enrichment that I think everyone's sort of familiar with how that works now with companies like Full Enrich, Better Contact, building yourself in Clay. Loan Scale will give you waterfall enrichment, but they'll monitor your whole CRM and keep it up to date, and then monitor for signals and push the contacts to the reps so that they can come in every morning and they can continue working with their list, knowing it's good, it's reliable, but also get things flagged to them. And so you can probably cut Cognizant and cut Zoom Info right down to a credit-based model, and then go to maybe like a Lusher instead, which an API into the waterfall for Loan Scale. Or if you want the reps to still be able to go to LinkedIn and like find their own contacts and source and add them to the CRM, then I would look at either upsell if you've got a big like a sales engagement platform, or Surf if they do a lot on LinkedIn. Both of those, you'll be able to create contacts they'll be able to source their own contacts from LinkedIn, push it into the CRM and the sales engagement platform. And then again, that Cognizant or Zoom Info, you just go to them and say, we only need one license now, and we only need X number of credits. API that into Surf or API it into Upsell, and just put it in like the last slot in the waterfall because it's your most expensive credit provider. That's going to we've done that for we've done it for at least 2 companies now. The first one saved over 100 grand on their data costs. The other one, they didn't actually save anything because they had 10 Cognizant licenses they were spreading across a team of like 50. But they're going to spend 50K and get everybody licenses and better data coverage. One thing to note with upsell as well, you said, like in this example, Dave, you said 20 SDRs, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So for upsell, everyone will get a license. in your team for 25 grand, and that so if it's north of like 20 or 25 reps, then it's a really good option. But actually, for just under that, then it's probably the look at the surf or the loan scale as the option. Um, because then, until you hit that number, it's maybe not the most cost effective. But once you go north of that number of SDRs, it's like drastically more cost effective.
So I think it's quite interesting what you said about the two options, the two examples you gave, that one company saved 100 grand and by optimizing this, so that's 100 grand they can spend on something else, or the other
Yeah.
company that didn't actually save money but were able to get exactly that level of coverage for everybody rather than that, as I'm sure we've all been in the situation of, I need a Cognizant license, shit, we just need to share them around. So that's quite interesting that.
Yeah.
Basil has got a question. He said he's got a question about optimizing. So come off mute and fire away to James. He's off mute, but can't hear anything. Do you want to type it in, maybe?
Sorry, David. I think you were talking to
Yeah.
me. I got a call on the phone. I was typing a question, and
Yeah,
I
go
got a
ahead.
call. Disappeared. Yes. Hi, David. Hi. The question I have that I was typing in, James. I'm looking at onboarding clay.
Yeah.
And with the clay, I just wanted to have better understanding since you have hands-on experience. Do you think, or do you see that with the clay, I'll be able to optimize on things like um, Lucia, Cognism, Zoom Info to potentially cut the license or drop those tools, including Sixth Sense as well, because I'm running Sixth Sense at the moment. So would the Clay solve a lot of those or consolidate it into one single platform between those data libraries and the intent data engine Sixth Sense? And would I still need outreach with that, potentially just for the dialer, because they have their own sequencer? So what's your take or your experience on that?
I mean, in
Thank you.
short, yes, you could consolidate all of that into clay. You'd like Lusher, Zoom Info, Cognism. You could probably then API try and API them in. We use, or, yeah, maybe you need some middleware, but you can API them in. But then I wouldn't keep outreach just for the dialer. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't got experience with Clay's engagement or sequencer yet.
Mm-hmm.
But if you wanted to test it and if it works, then I
Mm.
wouldn't keep outreach for the dialer. I would swap outreach for a much more like purpose-built dialer, like well, which CRM are you using?
SFDC.
Wicked. So then again, I'd probably go and look at uh, either a front spin or a rocket phone.
What is it
Like
called? Sorry?
front spin or rocket
Okay.
phone. Yeah, they're both like purpose-built dialers. So no, I just wouldn't keep outreach for the dialer. Um, even when people are using outreach for the sequencer, I still recommend actually use a different dialer.
Excellent. I think they
But
got Trello in the US. Here I use my mobile, if that's the name for it. Trello or Trello?
Twilio,
Somewhere.
Relish,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
If you
believe so.
if you use your mobile, Rocket Phone actually have an eSIM. So all your calls will be able to be transcribed and summarized and captured in and immediately into Salesforce. So that saves you some manual work.
Rocket phone. Excellent, James. And what's your take on Sixth Sense and this? If you have a clay, because they have their own scoring, which is you build the scoring mechanism opposed to, as they call it, a black hole.
Yeah, I'm not that familiar with the Sixth Sense. That's why it's not on here because it's not a tool I've used or none of our customers have used before.
Mm,
But I'm yet to hear many good things about Sixth Sense. I think like buyer intent, I think is a bit like missold at times. But when people are looking, because I assume it's because you're using it for the buyer intent and scoring.
correct.
I suggest looking at Simplify or Lead Onion instead. They're the same company, but they're two products. But you talk to Peter at Simplify, in the same way as like Clay aggregates a lot of data
Mm-hmm.
providers and data points, Simplify in a kind of like, or maybe like Waterfall would be a better comparison, but they get they have their own relationships and licenses with like Bombora, maybe Sixth Sense, Cognism, Clearbit, Lead Friends. They have their own relationships with multiple different
Okay.
third party intent providers, and then they can aggregate all of that and then give
Okay.
you like that result. So I think it's one of the better ones, and they're not like misset. They're not misselling it in the same way as I think other third party data providers have done.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Excellent. Thank you so much,
All good.
James. Cheers.
Got a thanks for that, Vassal. I owe you
Okay.
that reply to your email. I will reply to you. I'm a bit sick at the minute, but I will get back to you.
No worries. Get well.
Cheers, mate. There is somebody that has just said that Sixth Sense is a great tool for account-based marketing. Account-based marketing. I would not recommend it for SDR teams, and that's kind of the story that I also hear as well. Is that it gives a good overview in terms of accounts, but for the work that we do, which is speaking to prospects, below that, it doesn't really have that functionality to know exactly that I need to go and talk to James Donaldson because he has shown intent. It will show me that Stacky is showing intent. So it's for yeah, I completely agree. It's more of that account-based marketing piece for the marketeers.
Correct. We do use it, Dave, for the ABM motion, but at the moment we reflect that information as well in outreach, where we see the account activity and where do they sit. Maybe tech target is for the prospect level, if anybody agrees here or if they have any recommendation. But yeah, tech target would show you on individual level who is reading the content opposed to the whole account. So I agree.
Awesome. So I think that's Paul C. You're off mute, Paul C. I don't know if that's because you have a question. That's a no. Okay. Great. James, thank you so much for that. And to everybody else, thank you so much for your insights and the tech stacks that you've shared. And I feel hopefully you've taken something away from this. We will have this on our YouTube channel as well. We'll upload it in case there's bits that you missed out. James, where can they get hold of you if they have more questions?
Yeah, stacky.io is our website, and that little builder that we shared, anybody can go and use that. But yeah, LinkedIn, feel free to message me or message me in the community.
Nice one. Thanks ever so much, everyone. Have a great rest of the day. See you later.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, guys.